as of much because, well, we had reception problems and technical issues. And I don't know why that was because, but we're gonna keep going and look at some more comic books, and hopefully if this works on my phone, and if it doesn't not work at another time where I'm using my laptop and I'm trying to do a live stream on like StreamYard, I think it might be a case that I start using my phone for these live streams. So as I said last time, or as I will be saying, last couple of books I have looked at was I looked at Son of the Jungle. It came out of it was published in 2007, and the issue number was 1468. Last the one before that it was Giovanna, and it was number 1358. It was published in 2003, and this is pretty much what the cover looked like. And then, lastly but not least, we have the Deadly Masquerade. It was published in 2004, and the issue number was 1381. Nice looking cover. And then I think I was astounded at this cover when I first. I'm still astounded at it. And it is the latest Phantom comic is number 1943, and only 5 issues more, and we will have issue number 1948. Now with that 1948, so obviously that was the year that the Phantom got started publishing in Australia. So I feel like that we've now made to in 5 issues time, like we would have made to issue number 1948. I feel like that has like a special significance, even though that's the number, and that year that few publications started publishing the Phantom. I think that's amazing, and that cover was done by Alex the Man Tripp. Amazing cover. Comment down below if we are having any technical issues, because the last stream we did, we had heaps of those, and I'm hoping that if I'm doing it on a phone and not doing it on my laptop, then hopefully it will be better. So our next comic that we're going to possibly be having a look at is the Gold Fever Climax. It's number 1584. It was published in 2010, and it looks a bit like that. Oh, they have this. They had this cover. This cover was done by Antonio Lemos, one of my favorites. One of my favorites, and this cover, this art, the original artwork for it was done in was is on Few Publications website, and if you have a look at that and then have a look at the front, that is the art, that is the cover interpretation of the original artwork that is on Few Publications website, that is done by Antonio Lemos, which I've always sort of, even when I first saw his art, it was amazing. Still love it. Still love his art. And like, if there was a person that would come out and said that I don't like his art, well, then you'd be having a good old chat to me, wouldn't you? So, yeah, I love his art. I love Antonio's work. And I think also today we had that other live stream which I might after this delete, but obviously also today we had a new video come out, and that was a review of the new Defenders of the Earth figurine that I had recently bought. And I think I put up, I'm not too sure if it's up right now, but I put up I recorded a YouTube short discussing that there's going to be a new Regal Publications are going to be publishing a new Phantom comic very, very soon. And that comic is number 30, and the cover artist for it is Ankit Mitra. And the cover for that is very, very spooky. It's very, very terrifying and very, very scary. Now, that was the Gold Fever book that I was just talking about. Just bagged and boarded it. And the next one will be the Saved by Fate. And it is number 1544. It was published in 2009 and looks a bit like this. Actually, we'll have a look at this. I think it is an Egmont story. Oh, so the next issue after this one would have been the Phantom Gladiator Part 1. I'm guessing that would have been done by... Oh, yeah, I was correct. It would have been done by Klaus Murphy, and the art is going to be done by Kari Lepperman. And that was going to be sold it was going to be on sale the 24th of July 2009. And I'm also guessing, this one has been, the artist for this one has been done by Hans Lindner. And the story is Anna Jensen. Cool. I think this story was originally published in number 14 of Egmont Scandinavia, and it was published in 2009. Well, there you go. That's a bit of the artwork for what I was just talking about. Like, look at that art. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But, yeah. It's amazing. I'm going to actually have a look. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but looks like a very, very interesting story. As I will say that. So I think also another thing that came out, I mentioned this last time last week on the live stream, that there's going to be a new apparel store, a new apparel shop that is going to be making new Phantom t-shirts, new jumpers, and everything to do with the Phantom, but in apparel, like this. Shirts and jumpers and warm stuff and maybe even hats and maybe even beanies. Maybe. Everything for the family, they say. As I'm trying to work out how to get this one in, because to start with, this comic is fairly, there's a big spine, there's heaps of spine ticks on the spine, and it's making things very, very difficult to try and get this in there. I think if you can see what I'm showing you on the screen, by spine ticks, what I mean is that normally sometimes with old comic books, you'll always, sometimes if they're not kept in good condition, you'll see those little like lines, which sometimes means that they've got like a spine tick on their spine, meaning spine tick. And it means that when you have heaps of those, it pretty much means that after the spine ticks and everything being put on there. It means that I think that means that the spine, sort of the last page of it, is like getting brought. I think what it means is that throughout the book, every past I think halfway point, every page is getting shortened and smaller and smaller and smaller, and then when it gets to the back page and the back cover, what happens is that what I think happens is that the back page starts to roll over onto the, or like the spine starts to roll. So if you get what I'm getting at, if you understood what I was just saying, you'll know what I was just talking about. So this book was the Saved by Fate. It was issue number 1544. I was just talking about spine ticks. What are spine ticks? Not the ticks that you find on pets, those ones are not great. But ones that you possibly find in old comic books. If they're not taken care of, you'll see that. I'm making a group in this. I'm not happy. Not happy Jane. I'm not happy. Yeah. I don't like, you get a comic book, and if it's so, yeah, it's only a 2009 oldish one, but if it has so many goddamn spine ticks on it, then you're bound to see, and if it's not taken care of, it even more damage. Maybe it doesn't. Hopefully not, but sometimes that's how it is. And hopefully, if I pull this one out and it's not looking great, then if I at some point in my life get a comic book pressing machine, then I'll be happy. So that's what that one looks like. And next one. So next, I was getting excited then. Oh yes, I'm also now getting very, very excited. So we have here one of the first covers. I'm going to say this. Don't know if I'm correct. If I'm incorrect, please comment down below, because other people may know the information. So what I have in my hands is this new story, 36 pages, issue number 1628. Does that give you a hint to what I'm talking about? Okay, so this story is Save Jerusalem. Now, I'm going to show the cover very, very soon, and it is a huge advancement, and huge, from what he went from that to that in like 5 or 6 years, and is the one, it is the only, and is the very, very great one. Jamie Johnson, people, Jamie Johnson. So this book is from 2012. This is I think one of the very, very early on Phantom covers by the legendary Jamie Johnson. And yeah, you never know, I might take this down to Supernova. in mid-June. I reckon I might take this down and show him. I got another comic that's in the 90s that hopefully if I go to the dinner in June, hopefully if I go to the dinner in June, I'll be able to show a very, very special person what's in that comic book, because it's going to be good. And I've seen it. I have seen what's in that comic book, and it is just amazing what's in there. I'm not giving any spoilers away, because I already know what's in there, and I know it's very, very goddamn good, because it's a part of history. It's part of good old retro 90s history, and it is such a lovely thing. Such a lovely thing. I'm going to show it. I'm going to bring it down in June and show it. Whew. Maybe after Supernova I might have a look at it. Yeah, maybe I might have a look at it, because it's very, very special. I'm sure many Phantom fans may be surprised at what's in there. Maybe not. Never know these days. People can be surprised and at the same time say, oh, where'd you find that, mate? They can be surprised and then they can, yeah, I don't know. Mostly surprised, but shocked. In a good way. Okay, so that comic was, as I just said, Jamie Johnson goodness, Save Jerusalem, and I'm definitely going to show Jamie when I go down to Supernova. Gotta love that. Gonna love that. Okay, so have I got any more Jamie Johnson spectacular moves, please, tonight? Probably not. Probably not. So this one is called The Return of the Commander. It's number 1470. It's from the year 2007. Let me check that time, as it's 8 o'clock. So this is a new story. It's part 1, Return of the Commander. Oh my goodness. So this story has been done by... This story has been done by Joan Boyce, and the art has been done by Joan Boyce. His art always looks good. Like, I say this time and time again. His art always looks good in black and white. Oh, this is a sight for sore eyes. And the story is done by Klaus Murphy. Some of the things I'm discovering today. Well, I'll show you the art. It's amazing. Amazing. Simply amazing. Simply amazing. Simply divine. So I think we will go for maybe 10 more minutes, and then I think we will... And if there's only one left after this, we will see. Also, I think, yeah, I've already mentioned this, but like I think I put out a review of the NECA figurines today, and then I also put out a YouTube short talking about the new Regal Publishers comic. Now, I got to apologize. So, in that review that I uploaded today, I said something along the lines that I'll show you. So I said along something along these lines as this figurine is the second, this one being the second, and the one before that was the original superheroes line. Now I gotta apologize because I made a huge, I would say a huge stuff up in giving information that wasn't even right. So I say to this that I apologize and I'm sorry that I labeled this as the first line of superhero. No, but labeled this as the second line of the superheroes that was made by NECA, when in fact this was the first one and the original line of superheroes was the second one. So apologize for giving information that was incorrect, and I normally I strive to make sure that the information that I'm providing on this YouTube channel is correct, and sometimes there'll be times where I may get stuff incorrect and I'm sorry for that. But yeah, have I have a lot of regrets after I found that out. And simply I also am grateful because if it wasn't for Seiju Aber, then I wouldn't have known about this being the first and the original superheroes line being the first. This one being the first and that one being the second. If I, if he hadn't commented, well, then I wouldn't know. And there's another piece of information that I can store. But like, I apologize for giving the wrong information in that video. And if you're watching this now and you're seeing this, and I hope you accept my apology and it's all good, because further down the line I betcha I'll probably get more of those comments, and I apologize for what I did today and the misinformation that I may have recorded in that video, and I apologize for that, and I apologize for that, and I'm sorry that that information was said, and now we're going to move on. So I think hopefully this isn't going to happen again, but like, hopefully the information or the stuff that I said and the mistake that I made, hopefully it doesn't happen again. I strive to make sure that I'm reporting on the best and most accurate information as I can, but like, everyone is like humans. Everyone is human, and sometimes you make a mistake and you own that mistake by saying that I apologize for making that mistake in the first place. Like, I strive to make sure that I don't do that. And I know the consequences of, if that happens again, then I know what's going to happen. Because if I'm giving, it's a bit like the same if I'm giving out the wrong information and then someone takes my word on it, I know that if that person believes what I've just said, then I'm pretty much spreading misinformation and information that isn't correct. And it's one of my principles to not be doing that, and I don't like to be spreading non-incorrect information. Yeah, I strive to be, every day of my life, I strive to be an honest, well thought about person. But sometimes you make a mistake, you own it, and then you make sure that it possibly doesn't happen. Moving on. Okay, so this comic book is The Walker's Ride, and this image that we are now going to be having a look at is also, funny enough, is also the same image that is used as this thumbnail. How convenient is that? It's also the same comic book that is also in on the post I made on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and community post. Good old community post. Okay, so also in the last couple of weeks, I think I had started like polls and whether the Phantom could take on different superheroes, different actors, and all these different types of ideas and different people. So I will be continuing that. I just last couple of weeks have been quite busy, but I will be continuing that and I'll be making sure that still happens. Just yeah. Also, there will be the fourth season of The Enthusiast will be coming back very, very soon. That's what the comic looks like. The fourth season of The Enthusiast, excuse me, will be coming very, very soon. Lots of fun things, always lots of fun things happening. Fun discussions discussed by yours truly on that show, and they'll be coming very, very soon. And there's a possibility that either it will run for 10 episodes or there's a possibility that it may run for 11, as the last two have. Oh, look at this cover. This one's awesome. I haven't even showed you it. So, this cover is The Last Emperor. Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, yes. Phantom Classic, The Last Emperor. How many times has this story been not? How many times has this story been published? Like, I would like to know if you can comment down below, or if you're interested in letting me know how many times this story has been published in the many eons of times it's been around for. Oh, that information would be greatly appreciated. I reckon Phantom Wiki would know that. Just going off a hunch, or a Phantom expert would know that. I reckon they would. Possibly. It's a possibility they could. But yeah, so this story number is number 1568. It was published in 2010. Well, there you go. Who's KC? If you also know who did this cover art, this is amazing. Good interpretation. Still with sticky tape. That never stopped. Do I have anything else to talk about? Maybe. Maybe not. So I think one of the other questions was that in the last stream that didn't really go to plan. Am I going to Supernova? Do I go to Comic Cons? Yes. Yeah, I do go to Comic Cons, and I'm hoping in mid-June that I can make it down to Supernova Sydney. Hoping. Let's hope. That I can make it down to Supernova Sydney. I've been to Supernova. I've been going to Supernova, and I've only missed like 2 years. I've been going to Supernova since 2017. I've missed the 2 years I missed was 2018 and the year that they didn't really run a Supernova, which was 2020 because of the pandemic. But yeah, the question was, do I go to Supernovas? Yeah, I love them. If you're going to Supernova, then maybe you'll see me there. Do I do cosplays? Like, do I do Phantom? Have I ever done a Phantom cosplay? No, I haven't, but it's a dream of mine to do a Phantom cosplay at some point in time, but I'm hoping if I get my act together, I'm hoping that I can do a Mr. Walker cosplay. I'm hoping because I think a couple of weeks ago, I got the Maverick looking like Shades, and yeah, I think it'll be awesome. Okay, so that comic was Grinning Jack's Treasure. That is issue number 1626. It was published in 2012. It's another new story. New stories galore happening here. Okay, our next comic is the Moriarty Experiment. Good old Moriarty. So, does this comic have something to do with Sherlock Holmes? Probably. Does this comic has a crossover? I don't think so. Oh my goodness gracious me. I've got to show you this. Why haven't I heard of this story before? Why haven't I read it? Should be the real question that asks here. So this story was done by David Bishop, and the art was done by Cesar Spadari. Now this story was in fact first published by Egmont Scandinavian number 16, 2006. Now, one of the best things, or one of the best cover, one of the best artists, passed away a couple of years ago, and his art is a reflection to his career, and his career is a reflection to what he did for the Phantom. So I still say thank you to Cesar Spadari for all the stories, all the artworks that you've done over the years, and even your career as an artist, as a person who liked to draw, as a person who worked on stories, as a person who was an artist on the Phantom. Thank you, even though you aren't here as we speak anymore. Thank you for all the things that you did for bringing Phantom art like this that I'm about to show people, and allowing people to read your stories and look at your art and still appreciate it even years after you passed away. So yeah, I think your art is an inspiration to everyone who is an artist, and it's definitely an inspiration to me. And the work of craftsmanship that you put into your stories and your artworks still just reminds everyday people that they can be like you and they can still have that drive and that passion to still be an artist. So thank you for all the things that you did, and this is why Cesar Spadari is a legend. Absolute legend. I'm overwhelmed with how good this is. I've definitely got to read this story. And I've definitely got to have I am right now I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this. That is amazing. That is amazing and fantastical. Thank you. Absolutely thank you. And I know people will appreciate his art even after he's passed away. because I will, and I'm sure everyone else will. And his stories will be everlasting. Like if you have his stories in your collection, probably feel make one of those days that you sit down and read a Phantom comic or read a Phantom story or read a Phantom story that's like that was published like 5-10 years ago. Yeah, I think make the opportunity if you have a Phantom story that is past a 5 or 10 year mark, make the opportunity to sit down, read it, appreciate what went into it, and then just read another one. Just yeah, because there's not many times in this world where we're able to sit down, relax, and just read. Because if there was, I think people they 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 rush through things and they don't have they nowadays they don't really have the time to sit down, relax, and just read. Like I know I was getting onto a little bit of a rant but I think it's true. It's true to everywhere. It's true to everyone. Okay, so we've got two comic books left, and oh no, actually, oh my maths. It's 8 o'clock. Should be right. Okay, so we've got our last couple of comic books. We've got the Aviyaya's Treasure, which I'm guessing is another Egmont story. There's heaps of those since 1989. Oh, that's a bit like Paul Mason said on our interview. Grass is green and the sky is blue. And the crocodile is green. Yeah, that pretty much makes sense. Pretty much makes sense. And the streaks are purple. The streaks through the sky are purple. Always. Unless they're grey. It's a possibility. Always a possibility. Okay, so this comic book, as I just said, was published in 2008. It's number 1512. And it's a beauty. Absolute beauty. It's actually in quite good nick, considering what year it was published in. Me saying that. It's like, really, Brad? Did you just say that? A bit some. Did you just say that? Yeah, I did. So, yeah. So this comic book, 36. I make another mistake. 38. Yes. 38? No, it's 36, mate. So we have The Phantom's Unknown Sister. It's number 1454. It was published in 2006. Looks a bit like that. And the back cover has used perception, perspective. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty of things. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. I'll check the time. We've been going for 40 odd minutes after the previous stream sort of didn't go as expected, but get that hard jobs. Been going for 40 odd minutes. Would be 8:30. We'll do one more. That's that one. Do one more. And we'll leave it. Pardon me. Sorry for that. Okay, so this book is in dire need of repair. So this book is, the story is called Diana's Dilemma. It is part 3, Diana Disappears, and it is number 1428. It was published in 2005, and it is in dire need of repair. And it's not too bad, but not that great either. Oh, the cover, at least the story may be intact, hopefully. Oh, this looks like an intriguing story. Publishers Jim Shepard. Oh yes, very intriguing. So this story was done, the script was done by Tony DePaul, current Phantom Daily and Sunday writer. And the artist for this was done by Roy Mann, which I think is also Ramondo Feldman, which is Roy Feldman. And it also is, all partnering him is Usam. So this story was first published in Egmont by Egmont, Scandinavia, number 19 of 2005. And this book was also published in 2005. Okay, so this being the last comic that we will bag and board for tonight. And this comic is in dire need of repair. It needs more than a press, it does. I think it just needs more than a press. I can say that right now. I think if an expert person did that, if an expert person were to press that, I think they would be able to get all those creases out. I reckon so. Possibility. Everything's a possibility these days. Only depends if you have effort put into it. So we've been going for 43 minutes. Be past 8:30 by now. And that just snapped off. I meant the sticky tape just snapped off. We've been going for 43 minutes. Okay, so this comic book, it looks a bit like this. Diana's Dilemma, Part 3, Diana Disappears. It was published in 2005. It's number 1428. And I think that quite wraps us up. And I hope you enjoyed, if you're watching it on the replay, I hope you enjoyed this, hangout. And if you have anything you would like to talk about in the comment section, I'm always happy to, read the messages, reply to those messages, and always happy to talk about the Phantom. And, it's a passion. I love it. And I love talking about the Phantom, and I love making things about the Phantom. So if you can consider subscribing, and as always, keep Phantom caving. What do we say to this? Keep Phantom caving, stay safe, and we will see you next time. I will see you next time. Until then, keep safe, keep doing good, And you will see me next time on the Phantom Cave Reviews YouTube channel. See yous.